For this video, I want to explain the logic of the pushTail function. On the left-hand side is the code, and on the right-hand side is the main function. In our main, I went ahead and created a activation record in our stack frame. Here, I have created a node head pointer that is currently pointing to null. And once we get to this line, we call our pushTail function, and we insert the address of this head, and we add the data 30. So I'm going to create an activation record for pushTail. And inside our pushTail function, we have a double pointer that will hold the address of 0x50, which is the head pointer in our main function. And then we get to line 42, we create a new node pointer. We use the malloc function to create a node in the heap memory, and it's holding the memory address of 100. This new node is going to be pointing to that. And we assign the data, and in this case the data that we assign is 30. And on lines 149, we set this to null. And then on line 151, we create another pointer, a current pointer. And current is pointing to whatever head will point to, because we're going to assign head to it. And in this case, current, since this head is pointing to null, this head is pointing to null at the moment. So current will be pointing to null. And then we get to this condition. If head is null, well, it is null. Then we're going to assign our new node to the head. So now this will hold the address of 0x100. And current will also be pointing to our new node because it's pointing to whatever head is pointing to. And so now we targeted this function, and this function is completed. We've inserted 30. So what happens is this function is popped off, and this head is now holding the address of 0x100. And then we go to the next line, and we call the pushTail function again. So I'm going to create an activation record. And we have the same functions. We have a double head pointer that holds this address. We have a new node pointer. And we also have a current pointer. Since this head is currently pointing to this head will be pointing to this. So therefore, this will be pointing to this. So they're going to hold 0x100 at the moment. And so we go to this function, and this is the pushTail. And we insert head, which we did. And then we want to add 35, the data 35 to our linked list. Well, we go to this condition, a new node is created. So this new node points to this new node in the heap, and it holds the address 0x200. Then we enter our data on line 148, and this data is 35. And then we set our next pointer to null, so this becomes null. And then we go down to line 153, we've already created our current. The compiler will check if the list is empty. And how it does that is by checking to see if head is null. Well, in this case, head is not null. So it skips this if statement and goes on to the else. We go to line 162 and it says, while current next does not equal null, it is null. It exits this while condition and it goes to line 166. So because it is null, the new node is assigned to the current next. So this next will now point to 0x200, and our current is assigned to that. So this is now 0x200. And then this function is executed. The pushTail function is popped off the stack. And so after it's popped off, we go back to main, and so far, head is still pointing to our first node because we've never moved head. We go to the third function call, and again, I create an activation record for pushTail. We insert the address of head, so we have this double head pointer that holds the address of 0x50, and 0x50 is currently pointing to this. And then a new node is created, and this now holds the address of 0x300. And on line 151, we create a current, and current is currently pointing to what head is pointing to. And then we go to lines 153, and we check the condition of whether or not our list is empty. Does head equal to null? Well, no, that statement is false. This if statement is skipped and it goes straight to 160. In 162, it's saying while current next does not equal null. Well, no, it doesn't equal null. So this condition is true. So we go on to line 164. We enter this while loop. And current is then set to current.next, or current.next is assigned to current. And so the current.next is holding the address of 0x200. So current is now pointing to 0x200. And then we go to the while loop again. Is current.next equals null? And in this case, current.next, it is holding null. And so we exit, and the current next is assigned to the new node. So this now holds the address of 0x300, and the current is now pointing to this. And of course, we entered 40 on line 148 and 149. This is null. Head is pointing to that. And so now the function execution is completed, and this pushTail function is popped off our stack frame. And this is what we have left. And then it goes to this line, and then the output would be 30, 35, and 40. Now, as far as time complexity, we have a while loop here. It takes a unit of time to traverse to each node. It's going to take us n times to visit each node. So it's going to be big O of n. And that is the pushTail function